Welcome to the channel. In this video, we're diving into the world of hidden treasures as we explore some of the most expensive and ultra-rare United States coins. Today, we're counting down the top 4 Washington quarter-dollar coins that every collector and investor should know about. These quarters were struck at the P, D, and S mint marks, and here's the shocking truth. Even dirty, worn, or seemingly ordinary quarters could be worth thousands or even millions of dollars today. So before you spend that old quarter, make sure to stick around, because you might be holding a fortune in your hands. Alright, let's get started. The United States of America Washington quarter-dollar coin from 1977, without a mint mark, in good circulated condition, and why this simple-looking coin still matters to collectors today. The Washington quarter is one of the longest-running and most recognizable coin designs in U.S. history. First introduced in 1932, it was created to honor George Washington, the first president of the United States. By the time 1977 arrived, this design had already been part of American daily life for nearly half a century, making it deeply embedded in the nation's culture. The 1977 quarter was produced during a period of change and uncertainty in the United States. Inflation was rising, the economy was shifting, and the way Americans used money was evolving. Coins like this one were essential tools of everyday commerce, moving constantly through pockets, wallets, and cash registers across the country. This particular quarter was minted in Philadelphia, which is why it carries no mint mark. Philadelphia-produced coins were intended for nationwide circulation, meaning this quarter could have traveled almost anywhere in the United States during its lifetime. That wide circulation adds to its historical character. Good condition tells us that this coin worked hard. It shows noticeable wear, softened details, and smooth surfaces, all signs that it spent many years actively being used. Unlike uncirculated coins that sat untouched, this quarter participated fully in everyday American life. On the obverse, George Washington's portrait is still clearly visible, even though the finer details of his hair and facial features have been worn smooth. The overall outline remains strong, allowing collectors to appreciate the design despite decades of handling. The words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" are still readable, though lighter than when the coin was first struck. Their presence confirms authenticity and gives insight into how much circulation the coin experienced over time. The reverse of the coin features the iconic eagle with outstretched wings, a symbol of strength and freedom. In good condition, the eagle's form is clear, though individual feather details have mostly blended together due to wear. The inscriptions United States of America and quarter dollar remain legible, which is important for collectors evaluating condition. These elements show that the coin has aged naturally without excessive damage. The color of a 1977 quarter in good condition is typically a soft gray, sometimes with darker tones from oxidation. This natural patina is preferred by collectors over coins that have been harshly cleaned or polished. By 1977, Washington quarters were no longer made of silver. Instead, they used a copper core sandwiched between layers of nickel, giving the coin durability and resistance to heavy circulation. This change in composition reflects broader economic trends of the time, when rising silver prices forced the U.S. Mint to rethink how coins were made. Coins from this era were heavily used in vending machines, parking meters, public transportation, and everyday purchases, making surviving examples a record of daily American life. The wear on this quarter tells a silent story of thousands of small transactions, moments, and movements over decades. Collectors often appreciate good condition coins because they represent true circulation history rather than preserved perfection. A 1977 quarter in good condition is especially popular among collectors completing full date and mint mark sets of Washington quarters. Even common dates are essential for completing a collection, and demand remains steady for honest circulated examples like this one. This coin also appeals to collectors who enjoy studying wear patterns and grading standards, as good condition clearly demonstrates how designs change through use. For beginner collectors, coins like this offer an affordable and educational entry point into U.S. numismatics. They allow new collectors to learn how to identify dates, mint marks, and design features without fear of damaging a high-value coin. The 1977 quarter represents the later years of the classic eagle reverse Washington design. In 1999, the introduction of the State Quarters program dramatically changed the look of the quarter, making earlier designs feel increasingly historic. Because of that change, classic quarters like this one have gained renewed appreciation over time. Many people still discover 1977 quarters in old jars, drawers, and inherited collections. Finding one encourages curiosity and often sparks interest in learning more about coin collecting. This quarter reminds us that value is not always about rarity alone. Historical context, design longevity, and condition all contribute to a coin's importance. Good condition coins show honest age and use, which many collectors find more meaningful than untouched examples. The 1977 Washington Quarter reflects stability and continuity during a changing era in American history. It stands as a symbol of everyday life, hard work, and constant movement through the economy. Coins like this connect us directly to the past in a way few objects can. Holding one is like holding a small piece of 20th century America. If you have old quarters at home, take a moment to examine them closely. Look at the dates, mint marks, wear, and color. You may discover history hiding quietly in plain sight. If you enjoyed this deep exploration of the 1977 Washington Quarter without mint mark in good condition, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with fellow coin enthusiasts. Let us know in the comments if you've ever found one of these quarters or if you collect Washington quarters. Keep checking your change, because even the most ordinary coins can tell extraordinary stories. Next up, the United States of America Washington Quarter Dollar coin from 1994, struck with the D mint mark, in good circulated condition. At first glance, the 1994 D quarter looks completely ordinary. It has a familiar silver-gray color, visible wear, and the classic Washington Quarter design that most Americans recognize instantly. Because it feels so common, many people never imagine that this coin can still hold collector value and historical importance. The Washington Quarter design was first introduced in 1932, and by 1994, it had already become a symbol of stability in U.S. coinage. For more than 60 years, Americans used this same design in daily life, making it one of the most widely circulated and trusted coins in the country. The 1994 quarter was minted during a time when the United States economy was changing rapidly. Cash was still heavily used, but electronic payments were slowly beginning to grow. Coins like this one played a major role in everyday transactions, from grocery stores to public transportation. This specific coin carries a D mint mark, indicating it was produced at the Denver Mint. The Denver Mint has long been known for producing large quantities of coins for circulation, and 1994 was no exception. Coins from the Denver Mint often traveled widely across the country, meaning this quarter may have passed through countless hands in many different states. Good condition tells us that this coin lived an active life. It shows noticeable wear on the highest points of the design, smooth surfaces from circulation, and softened details that developed over years of use. On the obverse, George Washington's portrait remains clear and recognizable. While the fine details of his hair and facial features are worn down, the overall profile is strong and well-defined. The words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" are still visible, though lighter than when the coin was freshly struck. These details help collectors confirm authenticity and assess the level of wear. The date 1994 is readable, which is important for identification and collectability. Even in good condition, a clear date adds to a coin's appeal. The reverse of the coin features the familiar eagle with outstretched wings, a design that symbolized strength and unity for generations of Americans. In good condition, the eagle shape is visible, though individual feather details are mostly smooth from circulation. This level of wear is typical for quarters that were heavily used. The inscriptions United States of America and Quarter Dollar remain readable, reinforcing the coin's identity and purpose. The color of a 1994 D quarter in good condition is usually a soft gray with darker tones in recessed areas. This natural patina develops over time and is preferred over coins that have been harshly cleaned. By 1994, Washington quarters were made of a copper core with outer layers of nickel. This composition was designed to withstand heavy circulation and long-term use. Because of this durable construction, quarters from this era often show smooth, even wear rather than severe damage. Coins like this were commonly used in vending machines, parking meters, toll booths, and everyday retail purchases. Each scratch, smooth edge, and worn detail represents thousands of small transactions across decades. Collectors often appreciate good condition coins because they tell a more authentic story than uncirculated examples. A circulated 1994 D quarter reflects real life, real movement, and real use in the American economy. This coin is also important for collectors working on complete Washington quarter date and mint mark sets. Even modern dates are necessary to complete collections, and demand remains steady for honest circulated examples. The 1994 D quarter represents the final years of the classic Eagle Reverse Washington quarter. Only a few years later, in 1999, the state quarters program would dramatically change the reverse design. Because of that change, quarters like this one now represent the end of a long-standing tradition. Collectors today often look back on pre-state quarters with growing appreciation. This coin serves as a reminder of a time when U.S. coin designs remained consistent for generations. For beginner collectors, the 1994 D quarter is an excellent learning piece. It allows collectors to study wear patterns, mint marks, and design elements without high cost or risk. Good condition coins also help collectors understand grading standards and how circulation affects design. Many people still find 1994 D quarters in old jars, drawers, and inherited collections. Discovering one can spark curiosity and interest in coin collecting. This quarter reminds us that value is not only about rarity, but also about history, condition, and connection. It shows how even modern coins can become meaningful collectibles over time. Holding this coin is like holding a snapshot of everyday American life in the 1990s. It represents countless ordinary moments that together form history. If you have old quarters at home, take time to look closely at them. Check the dates, mint marks, and overall condition. You might find pieces of history hiding in plain sight. Next up, the United States of America Washington quarter dollar from 1982, struck with a D mint mark, in circulated condition. At first glance, this quarter may look ordinary, but once you understand its background and importance, it becomes far more interesting. The Washington quarter has been a staple of U.S. coinage since 1932, honoring George Washington and symbolizing continuity in American money. By 1982, this design had already served the nation for 50 years, making it one of the most trusted and widely recognized coins in circulation. The year 1982 was a unique and challenging time for the United States Mint. Economic pressures, rising production costs, and changes in minting practices all influenced how coins were made and distributed. Quarters from this year reflect a period when efficiency mattered more than perfection. This particular quarter carries a D mint mark, meaning it was struck at the Denver Mint. The Denver Mint played a crucial role in supplying circulating coinage for the western and central parts of the country, and coins from this facility often traveled far beyond their point of origin. Because of wide circulation, many 1982 D quarters show noticeable wear today. A circulated example tells a story of daily use, countless transactions, and years of movement through the American economy. Circulated condition means the coin shows wear on the highest points of the design. The surfaces are smoother, and fine details have softened, but the coin remains identifiable and historically intact. On the obverse, George Washington's portrait is still clearly visible. While the fine hair details and facial lines have faded with time, the strong outline of his profile remains a defining feature. The inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" are readable, though lighter than when the coin was first minted. These elements help collectors assess authenticity and overall wear. The date 1982 is still legible, which is essential for collectors who focus on specific years or mint mark combinations within the Washington Quarter series. The reverse of the coin features the classic eagle with outstretched wings. In circulated condition, the eagle's general shape stands out, even though feather details are worn smooth. The words United States of America and quarter dollar remain visible, anchoring the coin firmly in its historical and functional identity. The color of a circulated 1982 D quarter is typically a soft gray, sometimes with darker shading in recessed areas. This natural toning develops through years of handling and exposure. Collectors generally prefer this natural appearance over coins that have been aggressively cleaned or altered, as original surfaces preserve authenticity. By 1982, Washington quarters were composed of a copper core with outer layers of nickel. This durable construction allowed them to withstand heavy circulation for decades. Coins like this were commonly used in vending machines, parking meters, public transportation, and everyday retail transactions. Each worn surface and softened edge reflects thousands of small moments in American life, from buying groceries to paying for parking. Collectors often appreciate circulated coins because they represent real-world use rather than untouched storage. A circulated 1982 D quarter shows honest wear and genuine history, qualities many collectors value deeply. This coin is particularly important for collectors completing Washington quarter date and mint mark sets. Even coins that appear common are essential for building complete collections, keeping demand steady. The 1982 D quarter also stands out because coins from the early 1980s often show variable strike quality. This variation adds interest, as collectors enjoy comparing examples and studying differences in wear and detail. The coin also represents a time before major design changes in U.S. quarters. In 1999, the introduction of the State Quarters program transformed the quarter's reverse design, making earlier Eagle reverse quarters increasingly nostalgic. Because of this shift, classic Washington quarters like the 1982 D have gained renewed attention. Collectors today view these coins as symbols of stability and tradition in U.S. coinage. For beginner collectors, a circulated 1982 D quarter is an excellent learning piece. It allows new collectors to study grading, mint marks, and wear patterns without high financial risk. This coin also serves as a reminder that modern-era coins can still be meaningful collectibles. It shows that value is not only about rarity, but about history, survival, and connection. Many people still find 1982 D quarters in old jars, drawers, and inherited collections. Discovering one often sparks curiosity and encourages deeper interest in coin collecting. This quarter connects us to everyday American life during the early 1980s. It reflects a time of economic change, cultural shifts, and constant movement. Holding this coin is like holding a small piece of living history. It has traveled through decades, quietly witnessing countless transactions and stories. If you have old quarters at home, take a closer look at them. Check the dates, mint marks, and overall condition. You may find pieces of history hiding right in front of you. Next up, the United States of America Washington quarter dollar coin from 1970, struck with a D mint mark, in very fine condition, and why this coin continues to hold collector interest decades after it first entered circulation. The Washington quarter design was introduced in 1932, honoring George Washington and quickly becoming one of the most recognized coins in American history. By 1970, this design had already served the nation for nearly 40 years, appearing in millions of daily transactions and becoming a familiar symbol of American money. The year 1970 sits at an important point in U.S. coin history. The country was moving through cultural change, economic shifts, and rising metal prices that would soon affect how coins were produced. Quarters from this era represent the bridge between earlier silver coinage and the fully clad coins that followed. This particular quarter carries the D mint mark, indicating it was produced at the Denver Mint. The Denver Mint was responsible for striking large numbers of circulating coins, supplying much of the western and central United States with everyday coinage. A 1970 D quarter in very fine condition strikes a balance that many collectors appreciate. It shows light to moderate wear but still retains strong design details and clear features on both sides of the coin. On the obverse, George Washington's portrait remains sharp and well-defined. The contours of his face, the outline of his hair, and the strength of his profile are still clearly visible, showing that the coin avoided heavy wear. The inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" remain bold and readable. These details are important because they reflect both the quality of the original strike and how gently the coin circulated over time. The date 1970 is clear and strong, an essential factor for collectors focusing on specific years within the Washington Quarter series. The reverse of the coin features the iconic eagle with outstretched wings. In very fine condition, the eagle shape is strong, and some feather detail remains visible, especially in the wings and chest. The words United States of America and quarter dollar are crisp enough to be read easily, adding to the coin's overall eye appeal and collectability. The color of a very fine 1970 D quarter is typically a clean silver-gray tone with light natural toning. This subtle coloration adds character without distracting from the design. Collectors generally prefer this natural appearance over coins that have been cleaned or artificially brightened, as original surfaces preserve authenticity. By 1970, Washington quarters were composed of a copper core layered with nickel, a change made to reduce reliance on silver as metal prices increased. This clad composition gave quarters durability and allowed them to survive long periods of circulation while maintaining structural integrity. Quarters from this era were widely used in everyday transactions, from vending machines to toll booths and retail purchases. Because of this heavy use, finding a 1970 D quarter in very fine condition today is increasingly appreciated by collectors. Very fine condition means the coin circulated but was not abused, making it appealing to those who enjoy coins with history and visual strength. Collectors working on complete Washington quarter date and mint mark sets seek coins like this to fill important spots in their collections. Even though it is not extremely rare, demand remains steady because condition and originality matter greatly in the numismatic market. The 1970 D quarter also represents a time before major design changes altered U.S. quarters. In 1999, the state quarters program dramatically changed the reverse design, making earlier eagle reverse quarters feel more traditional and historic. As a result, classic Washington quarters like this one have gained renewed attention and appreciation. Collectors today often view these coins as symbols of continuity and stability in American coinage. For newer collectors, a very fine 1970 D quarter is an excellent example for learning grading standards. It allows collectors to study how light wear affects design details while still preserving the coin's character. This coin also appeals to those who enjoy coins that reflect real circulation rather than untouched perfection. The 1970 D quarter connects us directly to everyday American life of the late 1960s and early 1970s. It passed through countless hands during a time of cultural transformation and economic change. Each mark and worn edge represents a moment in history, a small transaction that added to the coin's journey. Holding this quarter today is like holding a piece of living history, quietly preserved in metal. If you have old quarters at home, take a moment to look closely at them. Check the dates, mint marks, and overall condition. You may discover meaningful pieces of history hiding in plain sight.